Canfield, Ohio, an exercise of endurance. 4 races in 3 days for the best in the sport. And heading into the final charge, the Bob Chandler race team is looking for a clean sweep. The question today is, can anyone in the field step up and dust their endeavored feet? This is Trucks and Tractor Power, featuring the all-stars of the PENDA Monster Truck Thunder Drag Series. Today from the Canfield Fairgrounds in Canfield, Ohio, it's the PENDA Monster Truck Thunder Drags. Hi everybody, I'm Gary Lee, and welcome to Trucks and Tractor Power on the Nashville Network. It is now that time in the racing season when there's a lot of tired iron out there. After 3 consecutive back-to-back racing weekends in this most competitive sport, well, it takes its toll on the equipment. Now, we know the Bigfoot organization is well-financed, but how about the privateers? Here with more on that story is my colleague, Army Armstrong.
The privateer is the backbone of monster truck racing like any form of motorsport, simply because, Gary, as you well know, there's more of them. There's not that many big buck sponsors in a monster truck racing. Yes, the Chandler operation out of St. Louis is hooked up with Ford, and Bigfoot and Ford make a good winning combination. But a lot of these other guys can't get that big major sponsor with those big pockets. So what they have to do is rely on smaller corporate involvement, an associate sponsor, if you will. Maybe not that much money, but some money and some product. There's another thing that kind of comes to light right here, and that is that this time of the year, whether you be a corporate sponsored vehicle or a privateer, the playing field starts to get level because all the equipment's tired. The drivers are mentally and physically tired. Your wallet's been taking a big hit all year long if you haven't been running good. So the playing field levels out to the guy or the team with the biggest heart. It's almost like a short fuse on the 4th of July. The big question is, who's going to light that fuse today to get the fireworks going? Back to you, Gary.
Well, I'll put a shilling or two on this guy right here because he got off to a good start right off the bat. Andy Brass in Wildfoot for the second time this weekend is your quick qualifier.
Yeah, but at this point in time, the quick qualifier just gets your lane choice. Rick Radler comes out, goes a 523, yanking the front wheels, powering it in no man's land. He could definitely be a player.
He's the second quick qualifier this afternoon.
Exactly.
Now on to round 1, and watch this wild run by Wildfoot, but Andy Brass taking on Paul Schaefer in the Monster Patrol was still able to turn in what would be the quickest ET of round 1. Also in round 1, Ken Deppy and Big John Moore in the No Problem Ford.
This is our battle of the Dodge Mopar guys against the Ford, and Mopar takes this one.
Yeah, Deppy wins that one in the Dodge Express.
Then another Dodge rolls out. It's Fred Schaefer, and he goes up against the Chevrolet of the Hall brothers, and out of that left lane, the Dodges all of a sudden start showing they're here for real.
That was Mark Hall in the black and white Chevrolet. But the best race of round 1 pitted the second fast qualifier in the Ford Snakebite, taking on Kurt Dabney in the USA 1 Chevrolet. And with the 10-truck format, Dabney would come back as the quick loser and advance to round 2. And that's exactly where we're headed, along with the Snakebite fans, right after these messages. Welcome back to the Canfield Fairgrounds in Canfield, Ohio for the PENDA Monster Truck Thunder Drags. Gary Lee along with Army Armstrong. Now, we spoke of the fatigue factor at the head of the show, and right now Army's standing by with a driver with a very tired and beat-up Bigfoot. Here's Gene Patterson.
Tell me about the fatigue factor, not of you, the driver, but the equipment that you're driving.
Well, Army, you know, we've run 4 races here in Canfield, Ohio this weekend. Ford Bigfoot, we put a lot of pounding on these trucks, and they're really starting to show up today. You know, we haven't really had the time to get the trucks up to 100%. We've done everything we could back in the pits, thinking that we had a handle on it, but now we've came out here, we've been a couple of sway bars up. We've got the truck leveled up as good as we can, and, you know, we feel real confident going into the next round, but we're just going to have to wait and see how it comes out.
Well, here now is a look at that run in qualifying where Gene bent the sway bar and posting a 550 ET, which in this field was only good enough for the 5th spot in today's program.
You know, it's amazing the speeds that you have to run to be competitive, and yeah, you got to qualify to get in the show.
Well, luckily for Gene, he would have an easy time of drawing the leaf spring truck of Steve Combs, the Night Stalker, and so the Night Stalker goes to the trailer and Gene advances. The matchups now for the quarterfinals: Wildfoot against USA 1, the fast loser from round 1. Then it's Bigfoot against the Dodge Express, and Barefoot, another Dodge, against the Ford Snakebite. Army, what are your thoughts on round 2?
Opening this round of competition, we went to the score printout and we found something kind of unique. Only one Chevrolet made it to this round. 2 Dodges made it, and they're going to be going up against one of the 3 Fords. So all the major manufacturers are here. Like we say, that's ground zero over our shoulder. Let's go to war.
Now, the first matchup will be Chevrolet against Ford. There is Kirk Dabney. The truck is out of Minnesota. Kirk actually out of northern Indiana. He's in USA 1, and he will pull alongside Andy Brass in Wildfoot, the Ford out of St. Louis. There's a look at the latest creation from the shops of Bob and Marilyn Chandler.
Well, I tell you, these people have literally dominated this PENDA Thunder Drag Series as it goes across the country. Everywhere we go, Gary, more and more keep coming out, and this is why they do it. They want to see the Chevys, the Fords, the Dodges go head-to-head. That's what they're getting right now. What's going to happen? You take the call. Whoa!
Brass is in trouble. Andy Brass, I think, was just DQ'd. He just lost to Kirk Dabney at a 5.76, but I think we'll see a disqualification for Andy Brass.
The rule reads that both front tires must hit the obstacle. In this case, the obstacle was the second jump. Let's check and see if the front tires did indeed miss the obstacle. Meanwhile, Kirk Dabney in his far lane just doing what he does best. He's going the other end. Missed it.
Yeah, only the left side hit, so let's go talk to Kirk.
Hey, congratulations. It wasn't easy, was it?
No, Army, that was a battle well fought. We've been really trying to bring up the True Value USA 1 up to standard. We've really had to try hard at it. It looks like the truck's going to make some competitive runs. We're just really glad to be in this round.
Well, let's take a look once again at what happens to Andy Brass, the near lane. Now, he's disqualified right about here because that right side front tire did not hit the obstacle. And Andy Brass is now a spectator.
The truck looked like it just didn't react to you.
I did. You know, we switched lanes here. We was having little problems between the cars. We were starting in some good times. But like I say, the lane was starting to pull us down there. It was a little wet. We went to the other lane, you know, it just pulled us right off the line. It was just a bad judgment call, I guess, on our part.
Another matchup of manufacturers coming up with Dodge and Ford. It'll be Ken Deppy in the Dodge Express against Gene Patterson in the Ford Bigfoot. There's a look at Ken Deppy out of Jefferson City, Missouri, which is right next door to St. Louis, basically.
Yeah, I would venture to say, as Patterson comes up on the screen from St. Louis, the state of Missouri probably has more per capita monster trucks than any state in the union. I'll tell you something about this Deppy kid I like. You veterans have noticed it just as well as I do. He wears the MIAPOW patch on his uniform. I appreciate that. Meanwhile, he's going up against Patterson in the far lane. Corporate America is watching this like a rocket ride.
Dodge near lane, Ford the far lane. Patterson picks the front. Look at this. Who won that thing?
I'm saying the
I
big
think
red.
Deppy.
Yeah.
I think Deppy. And yeah, look at that time. 5.20. The Dodge Express has just knocked out the Ford Bigfoot. Well, some surprises here in round 2 in Canfield.
Far lane initial move was Bigfoot's, but Deppy right here settles down and just like an interior lineman gets mean.
This kid has to be ecstatic. Let's talk to Ken Deppy.
Tell you what, every win's a good win, but I know you want to get these guys driving them FORDs big time.
You know we do, Army. We've been running them tough all year long. You know, it's really hard to beat the Bigfoot boys. They've been at this a long time. They're really fast. We're starting to come into our own, though, now. I think it's going to be a different end of the year this year.
Boy, look at that big grin. Look at the exuberance on Deppy's part as we get a chance to watch another battle between Ford and Dodge. There's Rick Rattler.
Now, Rattler, the second-generation driver for this vehicle, the main driver, Colt Cobra, is doing research and development to make more horsepower with the Rabbit and the Honker. It's like a comic strip deal, but right now, there is some serious monster truck racing on this line. Dodge is grinning from ear to ear. They got one guy in the next round. Can Fred Schaefer roll over to go against him?
Now, there's Fred Schaefer in Barefoot out of Pontoon Beach, Illinois. All right, let's see what this Dodge can do against the Ford. The Ford, the near lane, the Dodge, the far lane.
Look for a wheels-up start, and watch the Dodge in no man's land. Wheels up on this side. See what the Dodge does in the middle.
Whoa! Snakebite carries him, but remember, the fast loser comes back. Let's check the times now.
Man, oh man, that was a race.
Fred Schaefer, good run in a losing effort there at 5.26. However, that could be quick enough to get him back as the fast loser. 5.15 for Rick Rattler.
Yeah, the old rabbit honker horsepower go to 515. That's look at here, wheels up. Now he doesn't even set him down. Does a wheelie all the way through no man's land.
Just does touch the front end down before he hits that second jump. Here's Rick Rattler.
It had to be close.
It was real close, Army. The Ford Snakebite's really hooking up good down here, though. Like, you know, it's pulling the wheels in between the cars up there, in between the first and second set of cars, a little higher than we'd like to see, but we're going to have to live with it, and we'll just come back and run it like that all day if we have to.
We'll see the snake in the semis. That's coming up next from Canfield, Ohio. Welcome back to the Canfield Fairgrounds in Canfield, Ohio for the PENDA Monster Truck Thunder Drags. Semifinal matchups will show we have Dodge, we have Ford, we have Chevy. They're all here, but the big buck-back team of Bob Chandler, we thought it would dominate. It's on the trailer. Fred Schaefer, barefoot, the second fast loser, will go up against Kirk Dabney's USA 1, the first round fast loser. Now, these same two trucks met last night in the semifinals, and it was all Fred Schaefer. However, this afternoon, the lanes have been swapped.
Yeah, but Schaefer literally mild an iron muscle, and just he had him from the get-go.
So once again, the Dodge barefoot Fred Schaefer, right there you can see his position in the cockpit.
Let me point out some things here real quick. First of all, they look the same. Really, they're not. The Dodge engine is lower than the driver and behind the driver. It gives them a better balance. The USA truck on the far side, the engine sits in front of the driver, basically in a stock location. That has got to affect the handling characteristics. And once again,
last night it was all Fred Schaefer, and today it's all Fred Schaefer.
Tell you what, today the Mopar muscle nets him a 531. Not taking anything away from USA 1, but Chrysler just making a ton more horsepower right now.
Now let's look at this ISO shot of Kirk Dabney. Look how rough this ride is. Look at this landing.
Yeah, he's going to have to tweak on his chassis. He might be making a horsepower. He just can't get it to the ground. He was all over that place.
As we look again, I think Fred Schaefer could be a guy to be reckoned with when we get to the finals. There is barefoot, a little wheel stand right there. There's the big victory. Let's go talk to Fred Schaefer.
Fred, you're going in the right lane. You're coming into this thing, really, you're kind of in the catbird seat, aren't you?
Yeah, Army, we're trying to get everything figured out here on the track and stuff, and it's a little bit different, and but the track seems to be pretty fast, though.
What do you look for on a track like this? Some of these trucks are really getting thrown out of shape. They get thrown out of shape, they go on the trailer, you're still alive. What are you learning that they're not?
Well, Army, we're learning where to get hooked up at and what it looks like between the cars, if the tires are going to break loose, the truck's going to get sideways, how the ramps are looking there, and the starting line, of course, and that's what we look over up there.
That is called, my friend, experience.
Yeah.
Fred certainly has
You know, and he's talking about a 10,000-pound racing vehicle. And that's exactly the same thing you do with a 1,000-pound racing vehicle.
And there's a look at the Snakebite truck with Rick Rattler. He'll be alongside Ken Deppy's Dodge Express. Now, last night, the Rattler was involved in a wild semifinal run with Andy Brass in Wildfoot. Talk about lifting the front end. Watch these two guys. Look at Brass.
Yeah, and it'll prove that when a race is over, it's not always at the finish line. Watch the far truck.
Oh, man, Brass up on his nose, over on his left side. He almost rolled that thing over.
Whew. Better he than me, Gary Lee.
Well, that was last night. Now we're back to action this afternoon here in Canfield. We look into the cockpit of Ken Deppy. He drives the Dodge Express. There is the look inside the cockpit of Snakebite.
Told you about the research and development going on with the Ford horsepower with the Rabbit and the Honker. The question, can they get past the Mopar Express? Whoa, kid, wheels up start. No man's land. Who's got it, Gary?
Oh, who does have it? Who does have it?
Yumpin' Yemeni, what a race.
That didn't answer my question.
I don't know. It was that good. 5:36 to Deppy. Okay, let's watch the clock.
I will wait now for that time to come up on Rick Rattler. There it is, 5:30. 6/100ths of a second difference. Here is the replay. Rick Rattler wins it.
Chassis difference is one of them's going to finish up, the other one's going to finish down. Let's see who's going to take the win. One a Ford, one a Dodge. Ford's up, Dodge is down, Ford goes to the circle.
That is what 6/100ths of a second would look like. So Ford takes the victory over Dodge. Now, talk about photo finishes. How about this one for an instant replay? The last race we brought you from Canfield, it was another Ken Deppy, Rick Rattler shootout involving a virtual photo finish, and once again, the Snake won it, and he's standing by right now with Army Armstrong.
You put the big Dodge out.
Yeah, we got one Dodge out, Army, but we got another one in the finals. The Ford Snake Bite's really running well. You know, I made a little slower pass that time than I made the time before. Cut a bad light. I can't blame it on the truck at all. We just got to go out and cut a better light, and I think we can get him again.
As we await the finals, it's time for the B.F. Goodrich Tough Truck Competition. Here's some of the action now. This brown pig-out Jeep is driven by Jim Auld. It's a 77 CJ5.
Now, this B.F. Goodrich competition is open to the public, and it's for drivers to test their skills in all types of vehicles. And like you say, old Jimbo, he takes this thing serious with his pig-out vehicle, and he's having a lot of fun, too. The crowd really gets into it, especially at the very end. I want you to notice this. This is something we've all wanted to do, but Jimmy's going to get to do it on TV and bump into a big old tire. Attaboy, Jimbo.
He knocked the decal off the fender. He hit the tires hard. You can hear the crowd just explode with applause. Now we have another. There you go. The decal. We have another competitor in the same Jeep. Now this will be Kevin Harrell in another pig out.
Okay, now this is a team pig out, if you will, because they're driving the same vehicle. They work together. They own a company. I understand you're in Indianapolis. They're from Indianapolis and have a, what?
Pig roasting business, hence the name.
I can tell you who the boss is. You see how much bigger the first driver was than this guy?
He's closer to the food.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Now here's the part the fans love, right here. Hear the fans yelling, come on.
Yeah, they're getting into this thing. Wacko.
Whoa, he high sides it. Well, these guys, Kevin and Jim, were the big winners over the weekend in the B.F. Goodrich Tough Truck Competition. The fans certainly enjoyed it. We're coming back with more. Stay with us. We're in Canfield, Ohio. This event is brought to you by the same people who put on the four-wheel and off-road jamborees, which offer a host of participant and spectator activities, as well as great mud and monster truck racing that you see right here on Trucks and Tractor Power. Well, it's final time here in Canfield, Ohio. This should be a wild one. Rick Rattler in Snakebite taking on the Barefoot Dodge of Fred Schaefer. And Army had a chance to talk to both drivers and get their thoughts prior to the final event.
Gary, the final's going down not only as a Dodge Ford setup, which has got the crowd buzzing, but one of the old-time drivers, Fred Schaefer, is going up against a new kid on the block, Ricky Rattler. Does that bother you at all, his experience?
No, Army, his experience really doesn't bother me. The Ford Snakebite's been running really well today, and I think we can really get him in the finals.
Starting line's going to win or lose this race. I'm going to be real honest with you.
That's right, Army. You know, if you don't cut a good light, these lanes are so close in comparison that it'll be a tough race. You know, you got to get out of that hole and you got to run down there hard.
Well, you know this Snakebite Ford's going to come off that line like a rocket.
Yeah, Army, he's running real close there on times, and it's going to be a real close race, and I'm going to have to be on the light there because we're running real tight.
Barefoot against Snakebite. Well, Barefoot was in the finals last night and lost to Wildfoot. Our trucks have never met in the finals during the 93 PENDA series. That's the first.
Advantage has got to go to Schaefer. He's an old drag racer. He's been around a long time. I'm not taking anything away from the kid, but, man, time in the seat, this is where it pays dividends. They'll leave together. You watch to see if Schaefer doesn't settle down in the middle.
Oh, he's spinning his wheel.
Yeah,
He lost it right there. Rick Rattler lost it right there, trying to cut a good light. He sat there at the line, spinning the tires.
I think what happened, he lost his front-wheel drive on that vehicle. Or he lost his rear-wheel drive. He did not have four-wheel drive. I can say that. Watch this.
Take a look again.
Okay, the front wheels only are turning. See, the rear wheels are barely tracking. Meanwhile, Schaefer, he caught the first thing smoking and went to the other end.
So Fred Schaefer, after losing the Wildfoot last night here in Canfield, comes back to take the victory here this afternoon. And let's go down to Victory Lane and talk with Fred Schaefer.
Fred, I tell you what, you blink, you could have lost that one. Did you have any idea that he was having a problem, or did you just drive your own race?
Army, I'm not sure what happened there. All I did is try to be on the light. I knew it was going to be a real close race if everything went well. And
You're going to the bank Monday morning with first place money. Congratulations.
Well, it sounds real good. Well, thank you very much.
In the end, it was four-wheel drive over two-wheel drive. For Army Armstrong, I'm Gary Lee. We'll see you next week on Trucks and Tractor Power. Now, here's news of an exciting video release from Diamond P Sports.
Get geared up for Christmas with great racing videos from Diamond P. And walk away with a free hat when you call 1-800-257-9191 to order the latest in the series, and they walked away 3. It's 70 minutes of helmet-hammering, bone-jarring thrills featuring motorsport's most perilous moments. Stock cars tangle and tumble on the oval high banks. Drag racers experience terrifying infernos. Mud racers, monster trucks, and motorcycles explode in awesome displays. But the driver beats the odds, and you walk away with a free hat. To order with credit card, call 1-800-257-9191 or send check or money order for $24.95 plus $4 shipping and handling to the address on your screen. That's 1-800-257-9191. Get geared up for Christmas with Diamond P.